Hi, word bosses, and welcome to the Penpoint Your Perspective podcast, where our mission is to enlighten you with tips and pertinent information to perfect your writing craft. We'll talk about all things writing and speak with writers of all genres and backgrounds. I'm Erica Parker, author of Penpoint Your Perspective, Writer's Instructional Handbook. I'm also a writing coach, ghostwriter, and editor at Lyrical Innovations, LLC. Let's get into it.
Word bosses, turn my mommy up in your headphones.
Hey, word bosses. Thank you for tuning in for yet another episode of Penpoint Your Perspective podcast. We are a proud partner of the Divas That Care Network. Divas That Care is an organization comprised of empowered, positive women whose mission is to collaborate, inspire, and motivate one another in our personal as well as our professional pursuits. So if you haven't had a chance, please check out the website at divasthatcare.com. And please don't forget to follow our Penpoint Podcast Instagram account to learn a little bit more about our guests as well as what we have coming up in future episodes. Also, Lyrical Innovations LLC is our Facebook page, so please give that a like as well. Today's topic is creating new content. So we're going to chat with Lynnette Begue-Lavery I got that right? Okay, I have to check because, she's an image consultant as well as a magazine contributor. So we haven't had one of those on the show before, so that'll be exciting. And she's going to tell us how to create new topics that are engaging and true to your personal brand. So, Lynnette, thank you so much, first and foremost, for joining us on the show today. Always exciting to have guests that have great positive energy, and I can definitely say that about you.
Well, thank you, Erica. I am so honored to be here with you today.
Thank you.
And have a conversation.
Yes, yeah. I'm so excited. So let's go ahead and get started. Why don't you tell us a little bit about just who you are, what you do. You have multiple businesses, so we can get that out the way, and then also we'll put some information on the blog as to how they can, follow you and learn more about what you do. But tell us all about Lynnette.
Well, Erica, I'm a business owner. My business is Uniquely Your Image. I also do Mary Kay. I've done that for 24 years, which kind of transposed into Uniquely Your Image. Mm-hmm. And I created lifestyle energy profiling.
Okay.
And
lifestyle energy profile. That just sounds so complicated. Tell us
it's
about
not
that.
Really.
Break it down.
Okay. Well, it's really very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is created uniquely, mm-hmm. and we all are a part of 4 different styles.
Yes.
And each one of those styles plays out in our life in a different way, but you predominantly will lead your life with one. And that plays out in how you communicate, but most importantly, your image and how you wear colors and how color affects your energy, and how you communicate, how you walk, how you talk. And so it's all put together with helping you create the best image that you can, because you are unique.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so now you have my attention because you're talking about these different styles. So tell me a little bit more about that, and the colors and the energy and stuff. I'm really intrigued.
Well, there are 4 styles, and each one of those I created an acronym called LIFE.
Okay.
And L represents laughter, I is the information, F is for focus, and E is for excellence. And so it represents qualities that each one of the styles portrays.
Okay.
And you predominantly will lead your life with one.
I like all 4. I want a life full of all 4 of those.
I think that we are. Mm-hmm. We try to be
of
all 4.
Yeah.
But it always comes back to, that's why I do that, because that's my energy
I lead
style.
with that one.
I lead with that one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is awesome. And I see how that kind of partners with Mary Kay. I mean, that's hand in hand. So I can see how that led to that.
Yes.
So you started your own business doing that. So we'll get back to that in a second. And then you also are a magazine contributor.
I am. It started with videos.
Okay.
At first, I have an online channel. It's Uniquely Your Image with the Elite Experts Network. And through that network, I also do Sword of Success. It's a Sword of Success magazine and digital publication. And I contribute to that monthly.
Oh, wow. So what kind of topics do you contribute to Sword of Success?
When I first started, it was a little bit easier. It was more introductory about the lifestyle energy and what I do. As it goes on, I try to think of a topic and work around that and to write that way.
So that leads us to our topic of this podcast episode, which is creating new content. So we want to focus on creating content that is not only going to be engaging to the readers, but also true to your personal brand, which can be very tricky because it's like, okay, I want to put something out there that's maybe aligned with what's trending in my industry, but then I also want it to kind of come back to what I do. I want it to come and kind of be aligned with what I do for a living or what I exude or what I want people to think about me. So when you mentioned, okay, so I might have struggled a little bit on that. Thank you for humanizing yourself, number one, because this podcast is all about being honest. It's about being forthright with whatever your issues are, because listeners are writers. Listeners are people that, whether they're, writing on personal projects or whatever they're writing, they want to know that there's other people out there that have struggles as well, but have found success, which you have. So you said it was kind of easy when I was, talking about my business, but then I had to continue to provide content. So how did you kind of get past that? Okay, I have talked about everything regarding, what I do. Now I need to find some other things that are relevant to my readers as well as to my brand.
Well, mostly because when I write, or even when I'm with people, our image matters, but it matters not more because of what people think of us, but it matters because of how we feel.
I love it.
So I love empowering women especially to look and feel their best, because that's the way, God intended us to feel good about who we are. And we all have our unique flaws and unique design, and we have to learn how to pick our best and focus on our best rather than compare with others. And in today's Facebook age and social media, it's so easy to do.
Yes.
And we all have these limiting beliefs that started as in our childhood, that unless we address them, unless we become aware of them, we can't change them.
You're absolutely right. So you're saying focus on, what's positive, what we, can embracing something about ourselves that maybe makes us stand out, but then turning it into a positive. There are certain things, physical characteristics and also personality characteristics that we have that make us stand out, and we can embrace them. And you're saying we can embrace them with how we dress and how we present ourselves to others.
Right. And I think that it also helps us to be more aware of other people. That lifestyle energy is one of the things that focuses on our assets, our gifts, our talents, how they can propel us forward or how they can hold us back, and how that plays out into a color palette. And so that when our outer image is in sync with who we really are, then we shine.
Oh, I love it. And then you're also having that consistency when you're showing up somewhere, or when you're meeting someone, or you're meeting up with a friend for lunch, and you walk in and you're dressed a certain way, you have your makeup done a certain way, you look a certain way. It's that consistency that we as human beings I strive for consistency with others.
Right.
I want to know that, when I meet you, we've met for bagels, we've met in different places, but when I meet with Lynnette, it's going to be that same cheerful, bright, beautiful woman that is walking through the door that I saw last time. And you've been consistent. So that actually ties in with your brand and what you do. You're consistent. You're consistently cheerful. You're consistently positive. You're consistently uplifting and encouraging and motivating and inspiring. So that's your brand. You own it. That's, and that's what I can expect every time. And not saying that you're not, going to have those hard times and times where I can maybe uplift you.
You don't want to see me on a bad day.
So that is awesome. So do you show people in your writing on how to because I feel like consistency is something that is really important to us with our brand, because if you have a business, or if you have a writing style, or you have something, a way of expressing yourself, your readers, they look for that consistency. They look for that from you. Do you have a formula? Do you have something that, or a mantra that you kind of swear by when it comes to creating that content and putting it out there?
It's all about you. Be authentic. And when you are aware, you know what your challenges are, you know what your positives are and what your gifts are, then you can show up in the world and you can offer those gifts and work with other people. And it really is about being authentic.
This is what I bring to the table. This is what I'm good at. This is what represents me.
Right.
That's not going to change. That's going to be consistent. You are you.
Right.
So owning that is key.
Right.
That's awesome. Okay. You know what? You just simplified it for me. Like, you broke it down and made it so simple. Thank you so much for doing that. I think I was overthinking that.
Sure.
So you mentioned that you had a slow aha moment when it came to figuring out what was your passion, or something that you wanted to kind of pursue. You mentioned that you attribute much of it to Mary Kay, which where a lot of us are very familiar with. That is a staple in the beauty, in the cosmetics industry. You mentioned the culture helps you to see things differently. And I don't know if you want to talk about this, but you did mention a difficult childhood. So can you kind of talk to some of those limiting beliefs? Because I have some to share as well, that maybe doing the image consultant and working with Mary Kay allowed you to move past, and also what we can move past in our writing as well.
Sure. When I was very young, I was teased a lot and bullied in today's standards, but of course then it wasn't. But the red hair and freckles, and I was different. And so I took a lot of teasing, and then moving forward, I had this aha moment a few years ago that I think came back to me about an incident that when I was a child, I was, I don't know if you want me to share the story or not, but
You can. One.
I was in a car with my cousin and my aunt and uncle, and we were on our way home from somewhere. I have no idea where. But he turned on his blinker to stop at the A&W, and I looked at my cousin and went, "Oh, Amy, we're going to get ice cream." Well, immediately the blinker went off. He drove home. Everybody was silent in the car, and I thought, oh my. Well, she was mad at me because I said something. And it was kind of at that point that I said, okay, you look different, and now don't talk. So I kind of became this wallflower. I was very quiet and very introverted.
Oh my gosh.
And that's kind of how my life played out up until I started Mary Kay. That really started bringing awareness about some of the limiting beliefs I had about my image and about myself. And that changed my life completely. And then when I was introduced to the energy styles, that made a huge difference.
Do you mind sharing what your leading energy style is?
It's focus.
Oh.
So I'm focused and I'm excellence. And the focused person is very driven and very compartmentalized, very organized. The excellence person is that overall tend to be somewhat of a perfectionist and structure. We talked about that.
We did.
Those two combined are a great asset, but they can also be very detrimental. You know, there's like I said,
overanalyzing things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your gifts can propel you forward, or they can hold you back. And
you have to know how to use
them.
them.
So you have to balance it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you've known me for a few months now. So what would you say my leading one is?
Wow. So I try not to put that out there. I'll tell you that now.
Got it.
Because I may see something, but what you really feel internally is something completely different.
So do you do testing? Like, how do you bring that
There
out?
is a quiz on my website.
Okay. And your website is?
uniquelyourimage.com.
Okay.
You can go to the website and you can take that quiz,
Yeah.
and it'll give you, it's not a complete an analysis, but it will give you a start in the direction.
Okay.
Of,
so you're just not going to tell me. Okay, that's fine.
I'm not, because the reality is that a lot of times our environment and our
you're right.
culture can kind of change that.
You're right.
For example, if you're a woman and you're in an abused situation, you're going to be very different than when you are away from that situation.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
It can change.
And you haven't seen me after I've had a few drinks, so so that maybe you need to, hang around me a little bit more. No, I'm joking. But thank you for sharing that. That's pretty awesome. Some of my limiting beliefs, I did experience bullying as well, for probably the majority of my life. But, I feel like we all probably have at some extent, but I think it kind of impacts us in different ways. So for me, some of my self-limiting beliefs were when I spoke, I would always notice that if I was speaking and then if someone would start speaking while I was speaking, everyone looked at that person. But if they were speaking and then I started speaking when they were speaking, they still looked at that person. So then I'm like, well, what I say doesn't matter. And it was weird because it was like it would be a situation where I would literally be telling someone something and someone would come in and interrupt me and they're like looking at that person. And I'm like, oh, I guess it doesn't matter what I was saying. And so that resonated with me at a very young age. I was like 8 or 9. And then I started saying, okay, well, either I'm going to force people to listen, which isn't really the right thing to do, or I'm just not going to say anything at all. So then that led to communication issues. So then when I went to go do my poetry, that was my outlet. I wrote my poetry, and that actually ended up turning into my first book, poetry. And so I published a book of poetry, and then I published a book earlier this year, Penpoint Your Perspective, which is the name of the podcast, showing people how to write and get past their self-limiting beliefs as well. Exactly. And I did share some things about insecurities of who's going to read what I write, nobody's going to read this, and you start going through those struggles, right? But I did talk about that piece of it. So we do have those beliefs from childhood, whether it's something someone said or did to us.
Right.
Oh, it's so unfortunate. And we carry
or
that,
just
right?
Just those family dynamics and cultures. There's so many things that affect those limiting beliefs. And we have them about all sorts of things. Not just, our image, our behavior, our communication. Money is another big one.
Oh, yeah.
So those limiting beliefs, they're always there, and unless we acknowledge them and become aware of them, we can't change our direction.
Right. So when it comes to, you're absolutely right. When it comes to creating the new content, let's go back to that. So in my book, Pinpoint Your Perspective, I did have a section where I talked about creating relevant content and being in control of what you put out there and how you're perceived. So that's what you're doing right now. You have the magazine that is, I've leafed through it before, and it's a great magazine. And you're in the cover of one of the issues.
I was.
Amazing. So I do have read your work, and I do believe in putting out information about your business, but shaping it in a way that's beneficial for the reader. So a lot of people in businesses practice that. Okay, how can I put out content that's going to help someone, but then also is in the industry in which I have expertise in, which can then lead them to go to my website or my Instagram for more information. So how do you incorporate that piece of it? Do you study industry trends? What do you do to prepare for putting out that content?
I would say there's multiple things I do. One of the biggest things is I'm a firm believer that if you aren't growing, you become stagnant and then are dying. So I'm always all about personal development and research. So I'm always growing and learning. If you were to look at my books at home, they're all that same kind of thing. I love teaching and helping people, so that tends to be where my writing goes, into giving them tips how that would be beneficial to them.
Very nice. No, that's good. That's really good. So in terms of I guess my next question that I would ask for you is, what is next? I know that you have some things going on and some things brewing, but is there anything that you aspire to do, or anything on your professional bucket list that you're looking to achieve, whether it's 2019 or 2020 and beyond?
I have so many irons in the fire right now. One of the things that I'm really kind of gearing up to do is my book has been in the works. That's
Yay.
kind of in the background. That's coming out, but I also am interested in pursuing doing online workshop kind of thing.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, I want to kind of do a devotional where it's inspiration and something to focus on to guide them through a deliberate journey through the year.
Now, is your book going to partner with the course, or is it going to be separate? Are they going to have homework? Are they going to, read?
Well, I'm just in the infancy stage of this online course.
Yeah.
And so I'm working out all the details. I hope to have the book done first, and then the follow-up would be the online course.
Perfect.
So that's kind of my
They'll
thinking.
complement each other in some ways. And then tell me about this team of women that you're building. Is that a hush? Is that a mum's the word?
No. I'm looking for women who want to make a difference in their world and the world of people that they influence.
Okay.
And I believe that with Mary Kay, that is an opportunity, because Mary Kay is more than just makeup, or more than just a lipstick. I never knew when I opened up my starter kit what personal growth and development would be in there, the culture and the sisterhood that is there, and the support system. And over 24 years, I've just grown. And so right now I'm looking for women who want to make a difference in their life and the lives of others, and have a little side hustle and make a little extra money on the side.
I hear so many great things about Mary Kay. Everyone that I know that sells it is so pleased with it. So I don't think you're going to have any trouble finding some people to join your team. Where can they go to get more information or to contact you about Mary Kay?
Again, they can go to my website.
Okay.
I actually have two. There's marykay.com/beg1. Or they can go to uniquelyourimage.com and click on the products tab, and that'll take them straight to my Mary Kay site.
Wonderful. So, all that information will be in the blog write-up that is going to be at divasthatcare.com/Erica, ERYKA. So you'll be able to find the information there if you didn't get a chance to jot it down. But that's all I have for you today, Word Bosses. Thank you, Lynnette, for coming out.
Thank you,
Any
Erica.
last words or anything that you want to share with our listeners about creating that content, or about your image, or owning, who you are?
It would be to learn more about yourself and be authentic, because that comes through in your writing as well as your life.
Oh, true.
Live life confident.
Absolutely. Until next time, own your writing process, bosses. Don't let it own you. This episode has been brought to you by Lyrical Innovations, LLC, where we envision, create, innovate.